Welcome back to Bears and Bulls. I'm your host, Riva Galveztan, and we have here again our very special guest, Miss Pacita Juan of Echostore. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Of course. And earlier we were just talking about, of course, how Echostore started and about social entrepreneurship and how Echostore runs its sustainable venture. So now I wanted to ask, of course, we talk about different organizations that you're partnering with. And I wanted to know, how do you actually encourage people
to become
social
enterprises?
What does it take to be a social entrepreneur?
Well,
what are the factors that need to be considered? Because I think that's where people need to start off. They don't know what to do initially, so they need a guide. And I think you're the best person to ask.
Wow, thank you. Well, actually, when I was still in the corporate world, CSR is very important. Corporate social responsibility.
Everyone's.
A lot of people say, no, it's not just for corporates, even SMEs can do it. And true, even small and medium enterprises can do it. So let's call it social responsibility. I think every firm that is a business, that wants to stay on this earth as a sustainable business must have some kind of social responsibility.
Yes.
Some people want to call it philanthropy because they don't want the left hand to know what the right hand is doing.
Yeah.
Whatever suits them.
But
every company actually, it's been proven that they last longer if they have a social dimension or a social profit or a social responsibility. So that's for the corporates. But for people who have a single business, a startup business, you can always test your business versus the triple bottom line.
Yes.
Just the way corporates do. I guess in a corporation, a lot of them are now very enlightened, and if you're investing in stocks, people will invest in you if you have CSR. Like, for example, at the London Stock Exchange, they have what they call the FTSE for Good, or it's the FTSE for Good, which is a separate group of listing, a separate listing of firms that have corporate social responsibility. So I hope that the PSE one of these days will also have the PSE for Good.
Yeah.
Because investors care.
Of course.
If the company that they're invested in also has a social dimension. So in a way, every company that's worth that's worth investing in should have a CSR or should have some kind of social program. And I think it's a growing trend in the Philippine corporate landscape. But if you want to set up your own social enterprise, it's the same benchmarks, social, environmental, and financial profit. It's just that as an entrepreneur, we're able to, you have that, you're nimble.
Of course.
You can tweak things, especially
very much into creating new things.
Especially for business models that we have yet to prove.
Yeah, of course.
Like entrepreneurs like us, we want to think of new things. Blaze trails, check uncharted waters, So, but for companies, I think everyone now is doing like a social checklist. Like, as you make profit, are you hurting the community? Are you reaping the forest? Are you, reaping and raping? Whatever, the environment. So, that's my view on corporates and also SMEs.
But how about where did they usually start off? I'm sure there have been tie-ups with organizations, but I think what I really noticed is that these corporations have one or two tie-ups, and then that's it. I mean, I think for you, it's really you were saying continuity, something very constant, sustainable, and I think that's what we really have to start doing. Because I mean, people can do something today and tomorrow, which is good, but I mean, the question is what's next, right? I mean, what do you do after helping out these people?
In CSR, I think a company should always look at its CEO. It's almost always led by the CEO, so it starts in the boardroom, no? So I'm comparing corporates versus sole proprietorships or little partnerships like ours, small corporations. I think what they can do is, one, they can get in touch with like the PBSP, or they can get in touch with the Management Association of the Philippines that has a CSR committee, of which I'm also part of. And we connect the companies to different projects which are for sustainability. So they can get in touch with them.
It's not a one-time, big-time thing.
Yes, it can be continuous. It can start with volunteerism in the company. It can start with making your office area environmentally compliant. Like I'm just wearing a jacket now because it's cool here in the studio, but otherwise you can turn up your temperature so you use less energy. Things like that,
yeah.
Things like that in the office that you can do if the CEO leads it, and I'm calling all the CEOs, it's never too late. If the CEOs lead it and can be, the CSR must also be something that will outlive the CEOs.
Yeah, definitely.
And it should be a boardroom thing. No? But for small companies like ours, it's of course one of the reasons why we exist is because we want to be sustainable.
Of course, yeah.
So
I mean, why start something that will end
Why
tomorrow?
start something that will end tomorrow, correct.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's one thing people should keep in mind, at least the consistency, as you're saying. So it's not something that you will, end tomorrow and you don't know what to do anymore. Because I think that's what Echostore is really good at. And that's what people should actually, look forward to doing at the
Well,
same
we
time.
provide you some inspiration. You'll see there, we even have products made of the wastes of some companies like tarpaulin banners and newspapers.
And you're saying you have to start with the self, right? I mean,
Like,
it's really...
as I was saying, you have to start, look into your heart. I mean, what are you really passionate about? Is it just making money, making a name, doing a business, and of course taking care of yourself, like your health.
Yeah, of course.
Then second is your community. And then third is the planet. If you don't start with yourself, are you eating well, are you taking care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? So first is wellness, I guess.
Which is very much taken for granted.
That's right, wellness. We think we're young, we can do anything. So the self, take care of the self, then take care of your community, be it your home, your village, your office, your adopted community in your province. And then third is, then you would have helped the planet.
Like, little do you know that what you're doing and the little things, when you put it together, it's actually tantamount to helping everyone else already.
Helping everyone for adapting to climate change, adapting to all this proactivity versus disasters and calamities, which we know we're going to face more in the near future. I'm not a prophet of doom. It's just that it's real already and it's here.
If we start investing on that kind of, our time and effort in that kind of activity or those kinds of activities, I think when these calamities come or all these other, unexpected events, we're more prepared already. Because it's not something you can do overnight. You can't prepare for it. Oh, tomorrow there's a typhoon.
That's true. You build it over
put
time.
Put all those sacks around our house and stuff.
Consciousness, consciousness about energy savings, using a lot of these things that end up in the trash, segregating the trash in your office. These are actually small things.
Up to now, it's still not being done by a lot of people.
Because people think, oh, I'll sort it here, but then it will not get sorted at the landfill.
Payatas anyway, or
But like this fantastic organization, Philippine Christian Foundation, if you sort, and we have a few buildings on Ayala Avenue like RCBC that's already doing it, they pick up like 3 tons of garbage a day.
Wow.
Sorted. Because if the paper is clean, then people are able to use it
again,
for more functional things. But if you just throw water or coffee on paper,
or crumple
it's waste.
Yeah, of course.
But you can use clean paper. If you care about your documents, you can shred them. They'll bail it for you.
And actually saves you a lot of, cost. You can, the things as you said, are trash already, could be,
could be used by other people.
Yeah.
And it
has value to other people.
It didn't cost you anything. What it probably costs you is a little time to tell your office people, okay, now we're segregating. Like Punong Bayan and Arroyo, they're a MAP member. They showed us that they're now segregating their garbage in the office. Small things like that.
So, okay, now that we've talked about, what your sustainable venture is all about, I wanted to know how you actually promote this to people, because I know you reach out to a lot of organizations, but to the to the greater public, how do they view
Echostore?
Yeah, Echostore and your whole advocacy as Echostore. Of course, you go beyond the store. It's not
That's
just
right.
constrained to being in Surrender